It's a raccoon with a talk show, slinging culture facts you might not know. From the biggest flops to the greatest hits, this is Trash Can Tidbits.
Happy Easter, everyone! I'm Beaton. This is my series, Trash Can Tidbits, and I'm ready to provide some more fun for the week. Last week, I asked the question, what was Hawkeye's real name in the Last of the Mohicans novel? The answer is Natty Bumppo. Understandably, the producers of the film changed his name to Nathaniel Poe because they didn't want audiences unfamiliar with the story to start laughing when they heard his original name. Pretty easy explanation there, I think. Now this week on TCT, I'll be counting down my top 10 favorite furry platformer video games. Now for those of you who don't know, a platformer is a genre of game that primarily involves exploring, running, and jumping from platforms, and a lot of action in between. It's my personal favorite gaming genre. These games can have quite a lot of anthropomorphic characters, and as it turns out, I found them to be quite charming and a lot of fun, so why not show off some of my favorites? Now, these are in no particular order and will include both 2D and 3D games, and I'll keep it to only one game per franchise, so let's get started. Number 10, DuckTales Remastered. Before there was the DuckTales reboot, there was this game based on the classic NES game. Developed by WayForward and published by Capcom, this game shows us how to do a game remake right. Reminiscent of the Sega Genesis version of Aladdin in that it features sprite art drawn by real Disney animators as well as the voice cast of the original series. Not to mention the final voice performances of Alan Young as Scrooge McDuck and June Foray as Magica De Spell, who were both in their 90s at the time. That is dedication to your craft right there. This game is very rare in that it manages to pay homage to the original game, yet be heavily inspired by the original show, and give it an actual story in between. I'd also like to think the success of the game convinced Disney that a TV reboot would be big business. I really don't think we'd have the reboot if it weren't for DuckTales Remastered. Number 9, Spyro the Dragon. Since the excellent Spyro Reignited trilogy came out, it's been super fun revisiting the world of the cute purple dragon. The first Spyro game has always been full of personality, colorful characters, and beautiful locations that look to be ripped straight out of the pages of a storybook. The original PlayStation games are classics, but the Reignited trilogy ramped it up to 11 with improved visuals, amazing character models, and tons of personality for each of the characters. And when I say tons, I really mean tons. Oh my gosh, the dragons. It's worth it to play it to just see each dragon. Especially Magnus. Big sumo dragon. Get it together, B. Right. Yes, Spyro is still an amazing series with tight controls and 3D platforming when it was at its earliest and its best. If you're looking to revisit a classic PlayStation franchise, you can't go wrong with this one. Number 8, Sonic Advance 2. I guess you can't do a list of favorite platformers without mentioning at least one Sonic game, so I'm going to go with Sonic Advance 2 as my personal favorite. This was the first Sonic game I remember owning, as I didn't have a Genesis when I was a kid, but I was definitely aware of who Sonic was. This was the game that introduced the world to Cream the Rabbit and her chow best friend, Cheese. You could play the game as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Cream, or Amy as an unlockable character, but I would always play as Tails because he was my favorite character, as I'm sure he is for almost everyone out there. Sonic has always worked best in 2D, and the Game Boy Advance trilogy is certainly the best of the best. Plus, it's just a lot of fun to take Sonic on the go. I hope they consider re-releasing it for the Switch, unlikely, but one can dream. Plus, Sonic's music is always so awesome, and the soundtrack to Advance 2 is definitely a bop. Number 7, Kaze and the Wild Masks. This is actually a brand new game that came out a couple weeks ago, and it's already ranking among one of my favorite platformers. The entire game just screams 90s nostalgia, right down to the art style and charm of its main characters. You play as a rabbit named Kaze, wink wink, happy Easter, whose task was saving her best friend Hogo from a curse that has spread around various islands, and she has to gather different gems and items to reverse the curse. Along the journey, she gathers various animal masks that give her different powers and abilities, such as tiger strength or bird flight. There is a lot to love about this game: the art, the music, the character design. Plus, Kaze is a female furry character that doesn't wear pants. What's not to love about that, right? We need more female characters like that, you know what I mean? Number 6. Fox and Forests. This game is also another love letter to 90s platformers and was successfully funded through Kickstarter back in 2016. Just barely though. Released for all platforms in 2018, it tells the story of a sly fox named Rick, who, while trying to find and eat a bird, becomes a reluctant hero when he's informed that he's the only hope to save the forest from a villain who has the ability to change the seasons. Rick is given a magic crossbow that also has the power to change the seasons at his own temporary command, allowing him to traverse through different environments and find hidden items. I really love the 16-bit graphics of this game, and was definitely attracted to playing as a fox. The magic crossbow also adds some puzzle elements to the gameplay. Say you want to get across a raging river. Use the crossbow to make it winter so that you can walk on the ice. It's pretty fun to switch seasons on the fly, and I'm happy that this game was funded successfully. Number 5. Sly 2, Band of Thieves. Of course I had to put a Sly Cooper game in here. It would be criminal for me as a raccoon not to, pun intended. The second game is definitely the best of the series because it incorporates a new gameplay style that utilizes the talents of all 3 members of the Cooper gang: Sly, Bentley, and Murray. It was this game that gave each of the characters their defining traits that carried them for the rest of the series. And the heist planning that each chapter of the game brings out is just amazing. It reminds me a lot of Ocean's 11. Sly 2 is my personal favorite game in the series, and in my opinion, the most daring of all entries in terms of its choices that would play out for the rest of the franchise. Number 4. Ratchet Clank PS4. What's seriously better than running and jumping in a platforming game? Shooting. This franchise was always about one thing: blowing up. This game was meant to be a reboot of the franchise, but also a movie tie-in for the Ratchet & Clank movie that came out in 2017. A video game based on a movie based on a video game. Yeah, I'll leave you to figure that one out. In many ways, the game surpassed the movie to become one of the few tie-ins that was much better. And that comes again from the storytelling and gameplay variety. There are lots of weapons and alien worlds to explore, but Ratchet & Clank on PS4 was definitely the game that did it the best. I can't explain it, but it just does. Number 3. Jak 3. While not a furry game per se, Daxter is definitely a furry character, so I'm including it based on that criteria. Jak 3 is my personal favorite game in the Jak and Daxter series because it adds a new free-roaming location in the form of the desert wasteland, effectively doubling the free-roaming playing areas, including Haven City from Jak 2. I did enjoy Jak 2, but it was really hard. So hard in fact that I had to use a Game Shark to beat it. Jak 3 helped remedy that, and the gameplay is equally balanced. Plus, there's a lot of fun platforming as always. The game also restores Daxter's in-your-face game over wisecracks, something that was missing from Jak 2, so it's fun to see those. Number 2. Moss. The only VR game on the list, this game is very unique in that you are a spirit guiding a little mouse named Quill on her adventures to save her uncle from evil forces that threaten her land. Controlling Quill directly, you observe her every move, and she even communicates directly with you through the use of sign language. The game contains elements of platforming, exploration, combat, puzzle solving, and a major fantasy vibe that really appeals to me. The game reminds me a lot of Redwall, and the animal world that was created within those pages. The art style is also really charming. Quill is a cute little character. Let's face it, this is a VR action platformer. It totally counts. Moss is a storybook world come to life in virtual reality. Number 1. Night in the Woods. This platform is a classic coming-of-age story about a college dropout cat named Mae Borowski, who returns to her hometown of Possum Springs to reconnect with her friends while also contending with mysterious dreams, missing townsfolk, and her own inner demons. This game has such a wonderful art style, and the dialogue and characters are just so endearing. From the second you walk into the video store to chat with Greg and he starts waving his arms wildly, among other memorable moments, you know you're going to be playing a game with expertly written dialogue and wonderfully written characters. This is not just a game. Its story reminds everyone that home may not always be the best place to feel safe, in spite of the people you know and surround yourself with. But perhaps it's the friends you are closest with the most that shows no matter what crisis you're going through, you're not alone. And personally, this game helped me to come to terms with my own inner demons. It's amazing that a game like this manages to tell an endearing story about mental health issues and how we cope with them, and it's something we need more in gaming. Plus, the platforming sections are cool and will provide enough challenge and puzzles to get you through it. Night in the Woods is personally my favorite platform video game of all time. And here's this week's trivia question. Since it's Easter, I thought I'd talk about the movie Hop. Why not, right? This movie tells the story of the son of the Easter Bunny, appropriately named E.B., who wants to become a famous rock and roll drummer. This movie set a landmark record for product placement with companies ranging from Krispy Kreme, Burger King, Holiday Inn, Hershey, and many, many more. My question to you is, exactly how many companies provided product placement for the movie Hop? And there we go for this week. I hope you enjoyed my countdown of my top 10 favorite action platformers. What are some of your favorites? You got another gaming genre that you want me to do another top 10 list of? Go ahead and comment below, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell for future video notifications. Thanks for watching, happy Easter, and I'll see you next time.